My husband didn't just ask for a divorce, he demanded one. And he didn't come empty-handed. He came with a list. The house. The cars. The savings. The business. Everything except our son, he said calmly, like he'd been rehearsing it for months. Everyone told me to fight. My lawyer begged me not to sign. But I simply whispered, give it all to him. People thought I'd lost my mind. They didn't know the truth. He wasn't taking my life. He was walking straight into the trap he built himself. And the moment his lawyer realized it, he turned pale. What happens next changes everything. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. I knew something was wrong the moment Daniel walked into the kitchen that morning. He wasn't angry. He wasn't sad. He wasn't even nervous. He was calm, too calm. The kind of calm people have when they've already made a decision long before telling you. He sat across from me, folded his hands, and said it so casually it felt rehearsed. I want a divorce. Just like that. No explanation. No emotion. No hesitation. Before I could speak, he slid a stack of papers toward me. I want the house. The cars. The business. The savings. Everything, except our son. You can keep him. My ears rang. The world tilted. I stared at him, trying to understand if this was real or some terrible joke. But Daniel just leaned back in his chair, watching me like he was waiting for applause. My lawyer, Ava, nearly slammed her pen on the table when she saw the documents. You are not signing this. He's trying to gut you. This is financial suicide. We fight this. Hard. But I didn't fight. Not that day. Not at all. I'll sign, I said quietly. Ava froze. What? No. Listen to me, this is madness. He's taking everything. Let him, I whispered. Because I wasn't confused. I wasn't broken. And I definitely wasn't surrendering. I was choosing silence. I was choosing calm. Because while everyone else thought I had lost my mind, only I knew the truth. Daniel had absolutely no idea what he was really taking. People assumed my silence came from shock. They whispered that I was numb, broken, defeated. But the truth was far colder, far sharper. I had already seen this divorce coming. Months before Daniel said the words, I had started noticing small cracks in his perfect facade. First, he began working late. Then his phone was always face down. Then he guarded it like it held national secrets. But the real turning point came when I found a credit card bill addressed to a rental mailbox I didn't recognize. Luxury hotels. Jewelry purchases. Weekend business trips that coincidentally matched the dates he told me to visit my mother. I didn't cry. I didn't confront him. I simply watched. I followed the money trail. Collected screenshots. Took photos of receipts he carelessly dropped in his briefcase. I even saved the voicemail where he whispered to someone named Lena, telling her, "Don't worry. She'll be gone soon. I'll take everything. She'll walk away with nothing." Those words didn't break me. They clarified everything. He wasn't just cheating. He was planning my erasure. He wanted the house because he thought I couldn't afford to fight. He wanted the business because he believed I had no idea how it ran. He wanted the savings because he assumed I was too naive to know they were half gone. He saw me as weak. And the more he underestimated me, the stronger my resolve became. So when I said, let him have everything, it wasn't surrender. It was strategy. The quiet kind. The deadly kind. Daniel believed he was stripping me of everything. But what he didn't know, what he never bothered to ask, was that none of it had ever belonged to him. Not legally. Not financially. Not even on paper. Years ago, before my father passed, he created a complex inheritance trust. He'd seen too many marriages collapse around money, too many spouses walk away with assets they never built. So he made sure that whatever he left me would remain mine alone, untouchable, protected, shielded by layers of legal armor. Daniel never read the fine print. He never cared. He thought our home was our home. He thought the savings were our savings. He thought the business we built was ours to divide. But every document, every deed, every account, had one legal owner. Me. And the trust carried one very unique rule. Anyone who takes ownership of the assets becomes fully responsible for all liabilities tied to them. And oh, there were liabilities. The charming house he demanded? It came with years of unpaid property taxes my father had deferred under a special agreement, taxes I was exempt from, but any new owner would owe immediately. The business Daniel wanted so desperately? It only survived because the trust injected quarterly funds. Without that support he had no access to, it was drowning in debt. The real estate investment he bragged about? It was under federal audit. By taking everything, Daniel wasn't just robbing me. He was volunteering to shoulder the financial weight of an entire empire. One he didn't even know was crumbling. The courtroom felt colder than usual that morning. Not because of the air conditioning, but because of the way Daniel walked in. Confident, smug, wearing the same satisfied smile he used the night he told me he deserved a better life. His lawyer followed behind him, carrying a thick file like it already contained their victory. Ava, my lawyer, leaned toward me. You still have time to change your mind. Once you sign, it's over. You walk away with nothing. I nodded. I know. Daniel didn't even bother looking at me. He sat down, tapped his pen, and whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. Let's get this finished. I have lunch reservations. The judge reviewed the agreement, eyebrows lifting slightly at how one-sided it was. Mrs. Carter, are you sure you agree to these terms? You understand you are relinquishing all marital property. Every eye turned to me. I didn't tremble. I didn't hesitate. Yes, Your Honor. I agree. A gasp rippled through the room. Ava closed her eyes in defeat. Daniel smirked, leaning back in his chair like a king who had just conquered his kingdom. The judge stamped the final page. Divorce granted. Daniel shook his lawyer's hand triumphantly. Told you she'd fold, he whispered. As we walked out, he paused beside me, grinning. You should have fought harder. But thank you for making this easy. I simply smiled back. Because the moment he took that folder of signed documents in his hands, he had no idea he was holding the beginning of his own destruction. The first crack appeared just 2 weeks after the divorce. Daniel called me at 7:14 a.m., his voice tight, strained. There's your letter, he said. Something about overdue property taxes. Hundreds of thousands. This can't be right. I calmly sipped my coffee. It's correct. He hung up. 3 days later, he called again, this time yelling. Why didn't you tell me the business was in debt? The accountant says we're months from bankruptcy. Investors are pulling out. He didn't know the trust had been keeping that business alive for years. The moment he took ownership, the support ended. Legally and permanently. Next came the audit notice for the real estate investment he bragged about during dinner parties. A federal inquiry. Suspicious activity. Frozen accounts. The kind of letter that makes stomachs drop and lawyers panic. His mistress left him soon after. She wasn't interested in a man drowning in financial quicksand. His friends stopped answering his calls. His parents refused to bail him out again. His lawyer finally told him the truth. Your ex-wife didn't ruin you. You ruined yourself by demanding everything. Daniel tried calling me again, this time with desperation replacing arrogance. What did you do? He screamed. I did nothing, I answered softly. You wanted everything. So everything is yours, including the debts. You tricked me. No. You underestimated me. The bank repossessed the luxury SUV he'd flaunted. The business filed for emergency closure. The house, his trophy, became a financial hurricane he couldn't escape. He tried to reverse the agreement. Tried to claim fraud. Coercion. Anything. But the judge's response was simple. You demanded these assets. You signed willingly. This court will not intervene. Daniel thought he had taken my life away. Instead, he had pulled the pin on his own grenade. And stood there smiling as it exploded. My new apartment wasn't luxurious. It wasn't grand. But it was peaceful, quiet in a way my old life never allowed. I bought furniture I actually liked, hung plants in the windows, and painted the walls a soft green my husband used to call boring. For the first time in years, the space felt like mine. Every month, the trust my father left me deposited its quiet stream of income, steady and untouched, just as he designed it. I used it to start a small online business selling handcrafted decor. Nothing huge. Nothing flashy. But it was mine. My son chose to live with me without hesitation. He saw his father's greed play out like a slow-motion disaster, and he wanted no part in it. We cooked dinner together, laughed more, healed slowly. Life was simple, but it was honest. Then one afternoon, while picking up groceries, I saw him, Daniel, standing in the checkout line. He looked nothing like the man who once walked into court wearing confidence like a tailored suit. His clothes were worn, his posture defeated, his eyes tired. He noticed me and froze. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then he spoke, voice small and cracked. "You ruined me." I stepped closer, calm as ever. "No, Daniel. I didn't ruin you. You did that all by yourself." He swallowed hard. I thought I was taking everything. I nodded. "You were. Just not what you expected." The silence between us stretched, heavy with truths he didn't want to face. "You could have warned me," he whispered. "I did," I said softly. When I walked away, I picked up my groceries and turned to leave. Behind me, Daniel stood alone, surrounded not by the wealth he took, but by the consequences he earned. And for the first time in years, I felt absolutely free.